Support for The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code THEGOCAST at manscaped.com. Happy November, Gaming Outsiders. Alyssa joins Zack and myself on episode 370 to answer video game-related questions from all of you. Also, there's some great news surrounding Amy Hennig's next AAA game, and new games discussed include an FMV title called Bloodshore, the latest game from Yoko Taro, and a console port of a game based on Doctor Who. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 370 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, November 1st. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends. First off, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up, man?
Well, how do you do, Scott Clark?
I do all right. And Miss Alyssa White. Alyssa, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Scott. How about you?
I'm all right. It is officially my favorite episode in a long time because Alyssa's here.
Aww, always flattering me.
We only get to talk to you like once a month, so it's really great to see you here.
I know, I always miss you guys, and it's like super fun times.
Now, how was your week? You had a pretty good weekend, yeah?
Weekend was pretty slow. Last week, Sean came and visited.
Nice. Good times?
Yeah, we had fun.
Very cool. How about you, Zack? Anything new and exciting going on?
Well, I probably didn't have as much fun as Alyssa and Sean did, but it was all right. Nothing significant, I don't think. I mean, Halloween was all right, I guess.
Can I tell you guys what I did this weekend?
Of course you can.
Oh, I know what you did, and I'm sorry.
So CB's not here because he's in the middle of a move. And he asked me, amongst some other friends, to help him move this weekend. And included in that move is CB's massive game collection, which, if you guys have never seen it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Discord or wherever he posts his, he's very proud of his collection. It is massive. I think somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 pieces between video games and collectibles, most of it being video games, needed to be hauled. Not to mention the rest of his house. Now, when I say game collection, this also includes 3 full-size arcade cabinets that needed to be pulled out of his basement and into the basement of his new house. And also, not game-related, but an 800-pound gun safe that had to be hauled up. Needless to say, I'm in a lot of pain today. My back has never hurt so much in my entire life. I was this close to not being on the show tonight because it was that painful, but went to my chiropractor. So anyway, that's why CB's not here, because he is in full unpacking mode at this point. I love that he's, it's been 2 days since he moved all of his belongings from an old house in his new house. And the first thing that he does is organize his game collection in the basement.
And absolutely, man.
You should see the pic. Have you seen the pictures on social media yet?
No, I have not of his new setup.
Okay,
I haven't either.
When you get a chance, take a look, because not only are the games pristinely set up on the shelves, they're all in alphabetical order.
Well, yeah, man, it's important.
I mean, his bed wasn't even put together when we delivered the stuff last week.
Who needs to sleep when you can stay up all night playing video games?
Oh my goodness, it was hilarious. So that man loves his stuff, but kudos to him. He's happy in his new place, but I really hate him right now.
Well, I'm sure he bought you pizza and a beer.
He bought us. I think people call it pizza. Yes, he bought us pizza.
It always cracks me up in the history of moves. People are always like, "Well, I'll buy pizza." I'm like, "No, I'm not. That's not enough for me." Oh,
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. 14 hours of work, $5, hot and ready pizza. Yeah,
hot and ready. I think I figured out the brand.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anyway, in other news, we do have our November giveaway up and ready to go. We are giving away, I promised it a little bit earlier, but things got away from me. But Far Cry 6 on PS5, the Steelbook Edition, which includes the Season Pass, is available. The link will be in the show notes, so be sure to check that. If you don't see it, you can head over to our Facebook community. I've got it saved, it's pinned to the top. All you got to do is be a listener of this show click on the Google form link and enter in there. Our Patreon subscribers do get some extra entries as well based on their dollar level of contribution. So be sure to check that out. But let's go ahead and talk about the games that we've been catching up on. Alyssa, you have been away the longest. Anything that you've been catching up on, or has it just been all new stuff?
Pretty much all new stuff. I did play a little bit more of Kena Bridge of Spirits over the weekend, but otherwise
Toad's
just
Jelly.
review games.
Toad's
Jelly.
Kinda. Yeah, I decided to wait for the physical release, otherwise I was going to get swamped with, games and reviews.
I didn't
stuff.
realize it wasn't on physical right now.
No, it's like a 1 month delay, which I wonder,
Oh.
as plastic and paper shortages take over, I wonder how often that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It probably will happen a lot more often. Are you still digging it, though?
Oh yeah, I really am.
Yeah. I know Zack is totally jealous. And I kind of want to play it, too, but there's a ton of games I want to be playing right now, and I can't, so.
It's an onslaught.
Yeah. Crazy. Zack, how about you? Anything? Just new stuff?
Yeah, well, I circled back and I'm playing a little bit more Tales of Arise. I think I am finally 3 or 4 hours from the ending. It's a huge game. A huge game. There is a sizable plot hole near the end of Tales of Arise that I cannot wrap my head around. So much so that it was bugging me so much that I was like, I don't even care about spoilers, and just try to look it up. And no one has an answer for it. A lot of people are aware of the plot hole, and a lot of people doing weird mental gymnastics to make sense of it. But it is so sizable that it makes you question the very foundations of the plot. It's so glaring that I have no idea how it makes it into the script. It's unreal to me.
It'll be patched in with the DLC that you have to purchase to get it to be explained. Kind of like
Asura's Wrath.
Asura's Wrath is the exact game I was thinking of.
You know what really grinds my gears about Asura's Wrath is that the ending was behind DLC, and I don't care because it's just so fun and dumb.
And you just pay for it?
Of course, yeah.
I don't think I did. I just played the base game.
I didn't either. I just played the base game, and I'm like, no.
Guys, it rewrites everything you think you know about Asura's Wrath.
Really?
I think you might punch God in the face.
I remember punch God in the face?
There's a QTE button where you punch God in the face.
I remember a giant thumb or finger coming from the planet to come down, and then you have to hoist up that.
That's like episode 2 of that game, though.
Is it? All right. I don't know. I think I didn't buy the DLC just on principle.
That's respectable. That's way respectable. I bought Asura's Wrath, secondhand years later, so you know what? I'm happy to give them the $5 or whatever.
There you go. What if you can? Is it still? It has to be still available. How could you not do that? What we need is an Asura's Wrath definitive edition or complete edition.
Yeah,
bring that game over to modern consoles.
I would not complain if that happened.
Man, I barely even remember the gameplay. I just remember some of the cutscenes or some of the just tons of QTEs. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's just QTE.
And a really weak character fighter in between. Yeah, that game, especially with the anime and manga boom that's happening right now. Asura's Wrath. Stop sleeping on it.
I would love to go back and play that. I wonder if it wouldn't sell. There's no way.
I think it really would.
Just because
the highest grossing movie last year was an anime.
Okay.
That's insane. We live in a new era of the weebs.
It's true. You two are happy anyway. As for me, I've just been picking away at Far Cry 6. A game just continues to be exactly what I want it to be. I know you haven't played any of the more recent Far Cry games very long, Zack, but the formula in this one, I just keep. Someone said that it plays more like an RPG, and I do agree to that extent because it's more like your level matters more in terms of upgrading your weapons because you have to reach certain levels in order to be able to, unlock certain sniper scopes and things like that. But I'm sticking with my base weapons. I keep finding weapons and I just don't like them as much as my bow and arrow, my my sniper rifle, and my handgun. I think I talked about this last week. The handguns are broken in this game. You can just wreck shop. You can take down an entire compound with just a handgun, which makes the game a little bit easier than it should be. But here's the funny thing is I can snipe from across the map a guy, and it will take me 3 headshots to bring down some of these guys. But I hit him with 1 arrow from my bow and arrow, and they drop. I don't understand it.
That's video game logic at its finest.
Yep.
Totally video game logic. But I ran across my first mission where you have to have a tag-along person that has to, follow with you, which is great when you're trying to run from point A to point B, in a straight line like you do in an open world game. And you have to sit and wait for that person to catch up, because if you get too far ahead of them, it says, go back and wait for Miguel.
So that's some straight Elder Scrolls 3 stuff.
Oh, seriously, dude.
Miguel, hurry up!
It's infuriating. Like, because, especially when you're just so used to being in an open world, all you want to do is get to the next point. And even when you do that, it's hard to not get distracted by things that you could be clearing the map along the way and just beeline it to whatever point you're doing. But when you are beelining and you have to wait for this dude to catch up, is very, very annoying. But oh man, that game is a lot of fun. It's everything I wanted and more. So I am digging it. I just can't dive into it as much as I want to, because adulting sucks. Being an adult, officially the worst thing ever.
I don't recommend
Why
it.
do we want this as kids? Why did we dream of this?
Remember being bored? I forgot what being bored feels like. Legitimately don't remember why I was upset with being bored.
No. Also the content just comes faster in our lives now.
It is true. I mean, and plus it wasn't as easy to access that content when you were a kid. Could you imagine Game Pass when you were in 4th grade?
Yeah, if I was a parent right now, I don't know if I could stomach buying my kid a game. I would just be like, here's Game Pass. That's it. You're done.
Game Pass and some V-Bucks every once in a while, and you're set.
Yeah, it's the whole world circles around Fortnite.
That's all they need.
The Batman Who Laughs, a comic book character introduced in 2016, is in frickin' Fortnite now.
What?
I hate it. I'm mad.
He's
like
everything just gonna be in Fortnite now?
Huh?
Everything's gonna be in. There was someone that like John Wick was in Fortnite,
yeah,
and then
Fortnite.
And then a kid saw a trailer for John Wick. I was like, hey, is that the guy from Fortnite? Just wanted to.
Oh no!
Oh, I think I just threw him.
How dare they?
Well, let's jump into the week's news. Okay, so let's see. Kind of a slow news week this week, but some interesting tidbits nonetheless. Ocarina of Time is now fully playable on VR. Germany lifts its ban on GoldenEye after 24 years. And Amy Hennig announced she's working on a Marvel game. So some interesting stuff here. But Alyssa, you've been gone, like I said, longer than anybody. Which of these stories intrigues you the most?
Definitely Amy Hennig working on a Marvel game, because I'm a huge Uncharted fan. Love her, just her work, and having her back. I'm still so sad the Star Wars game she worked on was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing this makes me happy.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and read you the press release here. It says, Skydance New Media, the new interactive division of Skydance Media, helmed by award-winning writer and director Amy Hennig, announced today a partnership with Marvel Entertainment to develop a narrative-driven, Zack, blockbuster action-adventure game featuring a completely original story and take on the Marvel Universe, a press release reads. This marks the first initiative from the new AAA game studio, which was formed by Hennig and Electronic Arts veteran Julian Beek to pioneer a new category of story-focused interactive entertainment, a groundbreaking convergence of games, film, and television. Zach, does that get you excited?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would I not? Amy Hennig and the comic book game? Sure, of course.
Narrative-driven, original story, a completely original take on the Marvel Universe. Do you have any speculation?
Well, any original take could mean anything. That's some real PR, wording. I think the immediate scuttlebutt, as a comic book video game expert here.
You are the comic book master.
Thank you so much. Wow, flatterer. The immediate conversation around my circles of the internet was that a Daredevil game would probably make the most sense for Amy Hennig, which I would agree with. And
that'd be cool.
It would be very cool, and it would really work with that pulpy style she's talking about. And, he does a lot of investigations as well, and I think it would just that character would make a lot of sense, especially with the he more than a lot of Marvel characters is very a very introspective kind of comic book. A lot of character stuff, which Amy Hennig of course excels at. I think given her legacy of Kane heritage, she could probably actually make a really great Thor game, but that would probably be a little, because of that Shakespearean dialogue that runs through both, those grand operatic tales there, but I think a Thor game would be pretty redundant. Does mother know
that thou wearest her drapes?
Exactly. But it would probably be a little redundant with God of War out there, so I don't think you want to compete that way. So Daredevil's probably a fair bet, although, I mean, she could touch any character and I'm in.
Right. How do you make Daredevil interesting in a video game, though? I mean, I obviously you could make a third-person melee combat game, obviously, but what could you do to spin that with his disability to make that cool, to make it unique?
I wonder, right? Because the Detective Vision in Arkham kind of already was Daredevil's superpower,
right?
So I guess you would just do that, but you could really do a very grounded sort of comic book game. I mean, Daredevil gets messed up all the time, right? Like, the grand tradition in comic books is that when you're a Daredevil writer, you leave him worse than you found him. Like, you always just make his life worse and worse. So I think Amy Hennig knows how to write a dude down in the dumps. So I just think her on a Daredevil story would be great. As for mechanics, I don't care. Do whatever you want. I don't get. You just give me an 8-hour Daredevil game, a melee action game. I'm in. But I think it would be awesome if she just did a total left turn and it's a freaking Ghost Rider game or something. But something tells me a little bit safer than that.
I did not like the Ghost Rider movies, either of them.
No,
I watched the first one. Wasn't crazy about it.
You know what? I didn't even bother with the second one. When he started pissing fire, I was like, I'm out. Like, I don't know if that's in the source material, but it's such a cool looking character, though. Like, legitimately, is just very cool looking. And if that's all I get is the movies, it's kind of a bummer. But that would be cool.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of other ones. Because the extent of my obscure Marvel characters come from the pinball tables, like Moon Knight. I know nothing about that character. I just like to see stuff like that. Just, I don't know.
My personal hope would that it would be doing a Blade game.
Oh,
Blade would be amazing,
because that could combine her little wisecracking nature of her characters and also the Shakespearean kind of gothic stuff from Legacy of Kain to really meld her talents. I think that'd be great. Just a vampire hunting game. Like, we are overdue for a great one of those.
We are.
It's been a minute. Let's do it. What about you, Zach? I know that that was you and Alyssa both were hyped on that. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, that's the big news, man. Germany lifting a GoldenEye ban is funny. An Ocarina of Time fan game is cool, but it is definitely a slow news week. I don't know if you have more to add. I mean, fan games are cool. The Ocarina of Time VR port can't be any worse than the Switch port is, apparently. Which is
we're gonna find out. We got some takers in our Go community about pooling resources and getting that.
Have you guys seen the screenshots and videos of Ocarina of Time on Switch?
I have. The ones that the still one gets me, where like the water just looks like gravel or something.
Yes.
It can't. There's no way.
And that would just completely ruin the atmosphere of that boss fight.
Right.
It would be ridiculous against Dark Link. I don't know, man. Fan games are cool. I don't know. Did you guys see the Bloodborne PS1 remake?
I did.
Is coming out in January.
I did.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited.
Do you really want to play that?
I love those games as a kid. I might not have the same viewpoint now, but my nostalgia is excited.
Here's the thing: is it looks like they made it. It looks like they made it PlayStation 1 janky too in terms of controls.
That's
like, it does not look smooth.
You need it.
Oh man! If that game is still as difficult, though, I don't know.
It didn't look as difficult in the trailer, but I don't know. I'm excited for that in terms of fan games. My thing is, like, I'm going to play 2 hours of it and then be like, well, I want to go play real Bloodborne now.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do the whole game.
That's the exact thought I had with Ocarina of Time and VR. Like, this would be fun for a minute just to go out to Hyrule Field and jack around for a little bit. But then I just want to play it on my TV. Like, I sound like such an old fart saying that. Like, get this newfangled technology out of here. That's what we wanted in the 90s, right?
Well, I was never a big VR guy. Although San Andreas is coming to VR, and that does sound pretty sick. That's officially coming to VR.
I don't know, man. Anytime I play VR, when I play it, it's always short bursts. I never feel comfortable being in a VR helmet for like hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
feel like I do. Real
Yeah,
light. I don't know, but the GoldenEye thing kind of cracks me up. Like, see, the reason I actually went ahead and put it on here, outside of the lack of interesting stories, is this being speculatory about whether or not GoldenEye is going to come to Nintendo Switch Online or is going to be re-released somehow. Because now it's, why would they go through the trouble of making this not banned? It's not like they're selling copies of N64 games, right? So what would be the point of going through with this?
I mean, maybe it does point to re-release. I guess it's more possible now than ever with Microsoft and Nintendo kind of teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the rares in the picture. You have Nintendo clearing it. I'm sure. Hey, No Time to Die didn't light up the box office, right? So maybe the Broccolis are hard up for some cash. I don't know.
The Broccolis?
The Barbara Broccoli.
they're the producers of the Bond franchise.
Oh, I did not know their name was Broccoli. I just thought I thought that was a weird term that you kids were using these days.
Just a weird dig.
Like
Broccolis.
I legit thought you were calling like people say suits. I thought you were calling the people that run studios and stuff.
Right, that's
the
what I call hedge
up
fund managers. It's just broccolis.
That's what I was thinking. Broccoli, hedge fund, hedge plant.
That's
I don't
funny.
know. So it's kind of a light news week, but there you have it. So obviously the Amy Hennig news is the most interesting thing there for sure.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean, it
go
does.
ahead.
Do you guys? Quick aside, what is DC doing, man? They got to step it up.
You would know better than we do.
Marvel is knocking out game announcements 2-3 games a year now, and working with different partners and doing huge variations. Right, you get this Marvel, the Midnight Sun strategy games. You got this Amy Hennig action game. You got Spider-Man building a whole universe. You got spinning off with Wolverine. What the hell is DC doing?
Just putting out 2 games right now, right?
Yeah, I just feel like they're letting another medium slip through their fingers.
Suicide Squad and
Gotham
whatever
Knights.
the Court of Owls. Yeah, Gotham Knights.
No, I think those will both be amazing. It's just Marvel is, monetize or has a whole conversation with themselves, basically. Right.
I got you.
Sorry, I just had to vent as a fanboy. Sorry.
No worries.
I get it.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the new games we've been playing. Zach, I'm still playing catch up, so I don't want to hear this list. But
great,
go ahead and say it anyway.
Well, CB can live out a recent lifestyle with Unpacking coming to Switch and PC November 2nd, which is actually like an unpacking strategy game, but you're like unpacking through your different stages of life. So it's kind of an interesting hook on what could have otherwise been a simple premise.
Yeah, but that game is literally what it sounds like. You're unpacking boxes and putting things away.
Right, you gotta find room for everything. World War Z's game finally comes to Nintendo Switch November 2nd. I should also say Unpacking is coming to Switch and PC November 2nd. Mike Bithel's The Solitaire Conspiracy finally makes its way to Xbox Series consoles and Xbox One November 3rd. FMV...
You raved about that game on Switch, didn't you?
I played just the demo of Solitaire Conspiracy. It was a great gameplay hook, but it stars a Greg Miller who I cannot stand. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Like, used to respect that guy a lot. He is not who he used to be. Bloodshore is an interactive movie/FMV game. It's like a battle royale style premise coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, PC, iOS, and Android November 3rd. Every console imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
This game could not be arriving at a better time with Squid Game like lighting up a fire in the battle royale.
That's true.
I was just gonna say that actually. Yeah.
Dude, they lucked into that release date.
They sure did.
Corporate Menace Ubisoft puts out the most recent Just Dance with 2022. Going to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia November 4th. 3D
speaking of Stadia, Bloodshore is not coming to Stadia.
That's true.
True, yeah. Ubisoft weirdly still supporting Stadia. Also, apparently going to start introducing cryptocurrency to their games. What a terrible company.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just
so
looking for
tired
that
of
Splinter Cell. It'll be
cryptocurrency.
great. 3D platformer Demon Turf coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC November 4th. That has a neat little anime, like your 2D animated characters, but you're exploring a 3D world. It's a very interesting aesthetic. I recommend checking out the...
It looks like if Paper Mario were a 3D platformer.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it.
I think it looks really interesting.
I agree, if only there weren't 1,400 games out.
Yeah.
A Boy and His Blob, the remake of the classic game. Was that an NES game originally? Is that right?
Well, it was originally an NES game, and then they remade it, not remastered it, for the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
No,
or it was the Wii.
Yeah, Wii.
Yeah.
This game has just weirdly been put on every platform slowly throughout its lifespan. It's very strange.
It's such a weird game that got lots of love for some reason.
For a game to have almost as many ports as Resident Evil 4 to be A Boy and His Blob is very interesting.
Yeah, and what a weird concept. Like, you have a blob that you feed jelly beans and he turns into things.
Yes,
I dare you to go back and play the NES version of that. That game is stupid hard.
Well, in the remake, he goes blob a lot, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that would get on my nerves so bad.
Just like Maw, yes. Anyway, that's coming to Switch November 4th. The incorrectly named Prison Simulator coming to PC November 4th. That's really a prison guard simulator. That is important to denote.
You're not escaping. You're actually keeping the inmates in?
Yes, I don't know if it's the political climate's a little charged for this release, I feel like. But they'll probably just sell a bunch of copies. Good for them. But you can take bribes from prisoners, or you can just beat them up in a hallway in Prison Simulator.
That's for real?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This might make it onto Fox News. The Binding of Isaac... Sorry. Shouldn't laugh at your own jokes. That's bad form. The Binding of Isaac Repentance comes to Xbox Series consoles November 4th, so CB and Scott can replay that game yet again. Where Cards Fall, a former Apple Arcade exclusive, pops onto consoles with Switch and PC released November 4th. Animal Crossing New Horizons Happy Home Paradise comes to Nintendo Switch November 5th. That is an expansion pack to the hit game. If you have their new expansion pass online platform, you get this DLC.
Yep.
It's a weird throw-in. Otherwise, I think it's $25. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy comes to PS5 and PS4 November 5th. That is a ridiculous name, but it looks like Armored Core, and it looks like a lot of fun. Call of Duty Vanguard will be the only game, I assume, to dominate the conversation this week, and it's coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC November 5th. I know the developer wants this to be the first part of a trilogy, so get used to World War II. And then Let's Build a Zoo comes to PC November 5th, which is As It Sounds.
Was that a movie?
No, that's.
I was going to say that sounds. Yeah, We Bought a Zoo.
We bought. You're right.
Zoo.
We Bought a Zoo. You're right.
But yeah, as soon as I heard that title, I'm like, that reminds me of that movie.
If Matt Damon was in the trailer, I'd be there.
Matt Damon.
Wow, Team America throwback.
I can't hear Matt Damon's name without.
Now after you told me to look up who the singer was in Eurotrip, now I see him in my head every time.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
God, that was so funny.
The first,
because nobody knew that. It was like the best kept secret in like crappy not AAA Hollywood movies at the time. Like nobody saw that coming. It was just this random Matt Damon cameo.
I mean, it's got to be one of the best cameos ever.
Seriously. And then did he do a cameo in Thor?
He did, yeah. Also in Deadpool.
Was he in Deadpool?
All right.
Deadpool 2, actually. He was the guy talking about toilet paper.
I don't remember that.
You could not recognize him.
I only saw that one the one time. Brad Pitt had a cameo in that movie as well.
He did.
In Deadpool?
Deadpool 2? Yeah, he was the invisible guy.
Well,
you could only see him very briefly when he hit the electrical lines.
And I went to go watch Deadpool 2 again. I haven't seen that since the theater.
Hey, what game from this list catches your guys' eyes?
Can I say I got one? I'm going to say a game that just I have no interest in, which is Call of Duty Vanguard.
Okay.
I don't know why. I normally love Call of Duty campaigns, but this game is heavily advertised on television right now, especially during football games, and because I obviously watch a lot of football. And you know how like when you're watching a commercial and you hear like the PlayStation chime or you hear the Xbox chime, and I don't know if you guys do this, but I hear that noise and I immediately look up to say, "Ooh, what game is being advertised?"
Oh yeah, I'll come from another room.
That Pavlovian response.
Exactly, like that. That's it does what it's supposed to do, right? So I hear that, and as soon as I see it's Call of Duty Vanguard, I just don't even watch the rest of the trailer. I can't muster up any interest to play this. I don't know if it's just I mean, war games were never a thing for me anyway, but going back to World War II again, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that was kind of thing, right? Call of Duty World War II was this kind of breath of fresh air, honestly, when it came out. But now, do we really want to go back there yet again?
No, like the modern stuff always interests me more, and I feel like whenever I do play those, I always want to relive that Call of Duty 4 experience. Like the first time playing that game was just amazing.
I don't know if you saw the leaks, but next year's Call of Duty is going to be the Modern Warfare sequel. But that last Modern Warfare they put out was great. Huge fan of that game.
Wasn't it just called like a reboot? It was like
it was just
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, that was like, really.
Oh, man, those night vision levels looked freaking real, man.
Or even the campaign made sure to like humanize the terrorist sort of side of it, which is cool.
Yeah.
Kind of daring, honestly, in our world. So I don't know. I'm all about the Modern Warfare, but I don't know if I need to. It might just also be a generation thing, right? There's a whole slew of gamers coming up where World War II games are probably the novelty.
Yeah, that's always been my argument ever since back in the Hollywood Outsider days, when my fellow co-host there would complain about, these tropes are reused in so many movies, and I always argue, like, guys, not everybody watches 14 movies a week like we do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is somebody's first time experiencing the Halloween franchise, or the first time experiencing, whatever franchise. So that's who these movies are made for, is people that didn't grow up in the 80s and are, aren't scared by stuff anymore. It's the same thing with video games. This is going to be some kid's first Call of Duty game.
Absolutely. And speaking to your, I also am a fan of the Call of Duty campaigns. But the death of Redbox game rentals has also killed my playing of the Call of Duty campaigns, because I'm not buying a Call of Duty just to play a campaign.
Yeah,
same for me.
Like maybe if they sold a campaign for like $20.
If they sold the campaign for just $30, I'd be in.
Yeah, $30 for the campaign, $30 for because I will never touch the multiplayer. Just won't do it.
I'm not a fan of the multiplayer. Love the campaigns, not a fan of the multiplayer.
Yeah, campaigns are just a fun, dumb roller coaster ride usually, right? It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoyed the roller coaster more when it was modern. I really did.
Yeah, Modern Warfare. Did you play the Modern Warfare reboot?
Yes.
Okay.
I
to
did
completion.
Alyssa, it's great. You got to get in there.
But like even just going back to like, remember when like you saw Soap again? Like, remember those moments were just so freaking cool.
Oh, dude, those first two Modern Warfare games are tremendous.
Oh, I remember the controversy about Modern Warfare 2 at the airport scene. And,
yes,
sure. Like, I think it's the first Blackouts where you're torturing a guy by shoving broken glass into his mouth and punching him.
That was my first Call of Duty game I played, and I'm like, oh,
that should have been way more controversial. That's an insane thing to do to somebody. I can't even imagine.
I never would have even like thought of that being a thing.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, as soon as the glass came near my mouth, I'd be like, I'll tell you whatever you want. Nuclear codes, you got it, brother. That is all you.
I even like the Black Ops games better than the World War II games.
Yeah,
I think did we talk about that in Needle Drop Moments last week? That scene where they're playing that Rolling Stones song in the opening.
Oh,
no, I don't think so.
I thought I could have swore I mentioned that one last week.
I don't know. I try to pay attention to you. We are really waxing nostalgic here on Call of Duty.
Anyway, for games I am excited about, you probably guessed already, but Demon's Turf I think looks great. That just looks like old school platforming with a really clever aesthetic that just looks like it shouldn't work, but it has to. I don't know. Like in concept, I just don't know how you come up with that idea and make it work. But they made a very precision-based platformer in 3D with 2D characters. I just had to see if it works.
Alyssa, anything catching your eye?
The one game that caught my eye, I've actually already played.
Are you talking about Bloodshore, which also caught my eye?
Yes.
How did you like it?
I really liked it.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I am a fan of Wales Interactive, so
yeah, you're a Wales Interactive expert, honestly.
I don't know if I'm an expert, but
well, you have more on this podcast. On this podcast, you are. Are they the Poe and Monroe people?
That was Devecchi Studios.
Okay, I'm sorry. What has Wales Interactive done?
I previously played Nightbook by them, which was also great.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing the ads for that.
They've had a few other games that I can't immediately call to mind, but they're all FMV.
Sorry, I just jumped right into this on you, by the way. I'm
that's
excited.
fine.
I'm excited about Bloodshore. The trailers look cool, man. It has a
It
very
is really cool.
Do you remember the WWE movie, The Condemned?
No.
Starring Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vinnie Jones. Anybody here remember that movie?
I remember it existing, but I don't remember watching it because I didn't.
I'm getting flavors of that. That's what I'm saying. So what's the general premise here, Alyssa?
Okay, so it is a battle royale game, which, again, like you mentioned, since Squid Game just came out, this is hitting at a really good time. It's got flavors of, Battle Royale, the film, if you've seen that. Hunger Games, obviously. Squid Games, kind of. You make the decisions for a washed-up child actor named Nick Romeo, and you just get flown to this island. Everyone is kind of like... They call them Z-listers in the games. They're influencers, streamers, whatever. They're trying to get this huge cash prize, but also they're trying to become super famous.
But they get killed, right? I'm totally in.
Yeah, it's only one person can win. So, you either become super rich and famous or you die.
This does sound cathartic for old people.
That's what I'm saying.
For a whole generation.
It's a very millennial game.
Yeah, whole generation.
It's like, sign me up for this.
Yeah. Do you remember that movie God Bless America, where the guy just gets pissed off at people with all the younger generation
I
online?
do remember
goes
this movie. Yeah, wow, what
murderous
a
rampage.
What a movie to throw out there, though.
Oh, the movie's so much fun.
Man. Yeah, so sorry, Alyssa. Battle Royale style game. You're making the decision. So yeah, it's an interactive movie essentially.
It is, and it only took me a little over an hour to go through my first playthrough, which I do want to go through and play some more just to see what happens. But I really enjoyed it. I don't want to give too much away. I do have a written review coming out soonish.
Mm-hmm. I assume by the time you're listening to this, you're...
Yeah, it should be out. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really, really interesting story. It is campy, but it's fun campy. But I know some people don't like that kind of...
Like it knows it's ridiculous?
Yeah, it knows.
Okay.
And it plays up to that, but I really enjoyed it. It is very gory. It's pretty realistic looking, and it does give you a viewer discretion advised warning before you play the game, like you'd see before, The Walking Dead or something on TV. So you do feel like you're actually watching a TV show while you're playing the game and making the decisions for Nick.
You know who's going to be all over this is CB. He loves FMV games, and if it's campy like you're talking about, he's going to be all over it.
Just like plumbers don't wear ties?
Oh my god.
The FMV game.
Here's the question I have about this one, Alyssa, is you said that it took you about an hour and a half or whatever to beat this game. The press release brags that there's something like 8 hours of actual video footage for this game. So
there's a ton of choices you can make in this game. So they all affect different areas of Nick's life. And the cool thing about it is the mechanics, when you choose a choice, that affects the team morale, Nick's strength, his romance options, that kind of thing. So it's
romance.
I sadly did not see any romance because
you need to make better choices with your life, Alyssa.
The decisions aren't as clear cut as you think they'll be. Let me just say that.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to try it.
Do you
like
that it's not as clear cut, or do you think that's annoying?
I personally really like that because I like that it's just not, here's the good choice, here's the bad choice. You don't actually know if the choice you make is going to have a good outcome, bad outcome, or just be blah.
So can you choose really poorly and then just get eliminated? Is there a risk of that?
I would think probably. In my playthrough, I did not.
Okay. So is this one that like you want to go through and play again to try different choices and see what happens, or is this a one and done kind of situation?
I definitely want to play it some more to see the different options because I'm still like, why didn't I choose this option instead? So I do want to see what happens.
Well, I'm going to need you to report back next time to let me know how steamy it gets because that's going to be very important to my purchasing decision.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to know if it's going to be worth my hard drive space, depending how sexy it gets.
That's gotta be a big file, though. If it's 8 hours of video, do you remember how big the download was?
I believe it was 4 gigs.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't a big file.
These people are experts. They know how to compress this stuff. All right, they've been doing this for a while.
Apparently. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was around 4 gigs.
So you're recommending it then?
I definitely recommend it, especially if you like FMV games and you're into the Battle Royale genre.
I feel like they should have advertised this on Netflix or something. Like it would have.
Yeah, no, man, Netflix should have scooped this up, bought the rights or something.
Seriously, like just made it playable on like what was that other? Wasn't it Black Mirror did an episode or did a?
Yeah, Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch. Yeah. Do you think this could have been playable with a remote?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I just played it with a mouse and with just the mouse, not even a keyboard. So definitely you could play it with a remote.
And speaking of, you played it on PC, but it's available on other platforms, correct?
It is, yes.
So Xbox, PlayStation.
Yeah. If you listen to the segment just a few minutes ago, Scott, you would know.
I know. I was trying to reiterate.
Zack also said iOS and Android, so you can play it on your phone.
Everything but Stadia.
Everything but Stadia.
Everything but Stadia. All right, Bloodshore sounds highly recommended. I'm interested, but I'm going to need to know more. Would you like to know more?
What? What does that mean?
That was you don't recognize the movie quote? Would you like to know more?
What is a movie?
From Starship Troopers?
I was trying to sparse it in my brain. Like
Starship Troopers?
I've never actually seen Starship.
I haven't seen that in years.
I've only ever seen it on TV, and that was pointless.
Yeah, there's several reasons to not watch that on TV.
I just learned about 2 of them the other day at work. Yes.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first one, haven't watched the sequels or anything. Okay, Zach, I'm probably going to butcher this title because the last word in it, I had a speech impediment growing up, and this word always messes me up, so forgive me.
Okay.
Yes. But I see that you have played Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars.
You nailed it. That's the word.
You got it.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Speech impediment, take that. But tell me about this game. I mean, just the title sounds very intriguing.
Sure. I mean, this is a game announced only like a month or 2 ago. It is a Japanese style role playing game. So like the crux of the game is that everything's made out of cards, right? So the game maps is cards. Your party members are portraits drawn on cards, and your stats are on there. Almost like a Hearthstone or what have you. And everything is cards. Your inventory are deck cards you flip through, etc. What trips it up and is not, I don't think, being illustrated enough in the trailers is that it is not a card game, though. It is just it is really just a Japanese role playing game. You're taking place in turn-based battles. You're walking around the map, which yes is made of cards that you get to flip over. You don't know what's on the other side, but you're getting into random encounters. You have health and mana and equipment that you're equipping. Different bangles or whatever. And it is kind of cool because some of the attacks need dice rolls and stuff like that, so it's not too far away from playing a tabletop role playing game, a la Dungeons and Dragons, and that's all well and good, but it's just I don't think they're doing enough to let you know that this is not a card game. It is just made of cards, which is a strange setup.
I think it's I think it's kind of cool.
You play as cards, but it's not a card building deck game.
Yeah, you'll move a little like pawn around the game board, like your Monopoly token or whatever, and that's how you get around. But other than that, like it is supposed to be a tabletop role playing game. There's only one voice actor, and that is your game master, and he's Bryce Papenbrook is the voice actor, and he's
recognize the name
as well. You should if you've weaved it up here and there. And he's narrating everything. So if you meet an NPC, he's doing the voice of the NPC. He's doing the what happens, what your character's scuffles are. He's voicing your whole party, etc. Like he's a narrator of the story. He's your game master, your dungeon master. So it is, almost like you're playing through a tabletop role playing game. You can make different choices as well. Not obviously to the extent you could with a Dungeons and Dragons, where you just make anything up. And generally the same. It's just kind of like coloring your adventure because I feel like the same result is going to happen no matter what, because the story progresses along one path, but you can kind of color it in your own shade, basically. Spice up your story.
So, are you digging it? Because
Well,
you're the resident Yoko Taro guy, right?
Yeah, so that's the hook of the game, right? Is the name Yoko Taro is attached as the writer and director of this game. Keiichi Okabe comes back for the music. Yosuke Saito is producing. The whole Nier crew is here, and I am shocked to say it's fine.
Just okay, huh?
This
Just
game
fine.
Is fine. It's got a couple quibbles. I mean, so far it doesn't. It's not doing a lot of the. There's no like huge twist or hook yet that you might imagine Yoko Taro game would have, and not for nothing. And it probably is just because this is the third Yoko Taro game this year.
Mm-hmm.
But like the side quests always ending in misery sort of thing is like, I don't know. It kind of felt a little played out here. It almost felt forced. You know what I mean?
Kind of like an ending of a M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Where there has to be a twist.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There's like some stuff happening here, or like your character's kind of, your party members are terrible people, which is also part of for the course. It just feels a little like somebody put them in a box, I guess. I don't know. Like, it almost feels predictable at this point, which is a shame because Yoko Taro is usually quite unpredictable.
Right.
Mhm.
Are you going to keep going?
Yeah, the problem I have is, so I mean, the story itself is somewhat simple. You're just playing as this character Ash, and you have a couple companions, and you're just slowly exploring the map. You need to go kill the dragon. That's the crux. But this much more capable group of adventurers is ahead of you the whole time, called the Ivory Order, who you play as in the demo if you play that, and they're just kind of like better than you at everything. So you're just like basically on their breadcrumb trail the whole time, which is kind of like a funny hook because they'll just rough you up in every town basically because you're terrible at your job compared to them. So I'm waiting to see how that plays out, but it's just, I think it is intentionally supposed to be a slow and relaxing game, but the pace of the game is agonizing. And because the turn based, like, it has full card animations for everything, so your card lifts up and moves to the other side and attacks the person, and it's got this whole gem thing, like you have to use gems to magic, and it has to go through the animation every time. And it's super slow, and what makes it frustrating as well is that, there are random encounters, the pace is slow, and you are so overpowered at all times. Like, I went a full hour in this game without an enemy even getting an attack off on me. That's how overpowered you are in this game. There's no difficulty options, so it's just like, I'm like, what am I doing in these fights? The random encounter rates.
The odds are stacked in your favor.
Yeah, which might, it might. It's supposed to be, relaxing on purpose. Are you doing a Hunger Games thing? I don't know. I'm like 5-ish hours into it, and it's supposed to be like a 12, 13-hour game. And I would think by the halfway point of a game, I should be more invested than I am.
Would you be continuing to play it if it were not a Yoko Taro game?
If Yoko Taro's game was not attached to this game, I would not be playing it. The music is absolutely lovely. But I am here as a Yoko Taro fan, but I definitely find myself disappointed because it's just the presentation. That's the hook.
Mm-hmm.
And I am quite surprised as a Yoko Taro fanboy to be like, he's gonna have to, like, if we get his next game and all the side quests are just like, oh my god, the puppy's dead.
No, not the puppy.
I just don't know if I can be as invested, unless there are a few years, until the next one. But
so you fold on this one, huh?
Oh, nice card.
Oh, is that what the odds and the favorite thing was? See, it doesn't work because it's not a card game.
I know.
Yeah, there is a game parlor in every town, and you're gonna be hard pressed to tell one town from another because they're all just cards. But there's a game parlor in each game, and it has this weird like version of Rummy almost that is significantly more interesting than the actual combat, where you have to, like, if you do like a flush of clubs or whatever, like that is a certain kind of attack basically you can use, but it also gives you points to your total. But it might also like take a card away from the other player. It's like really deep and interesting. And I'm like, this should have been the combat system.
That does sound cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
So as it stands, I would recommend it only for the Yoko Taro diehards. And even then, I mean, your mileage may vary. Like I played it for like 5 hours on Thursday, and then by Friday I was just back to playing Tales. If that's any indication of how disappointed I was.
So, Voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars. Can you say that word for me, Alyssa?
That's rude.
I'll try. Roars?
You got it.
That sounded weird to me. I don't know.
What a teacher.
Totally
you are.
Fine.
Yeah, I am as surprised as anyone to be disappointed by Yoko Taro.
We got one more game to talk about, and that is one that Alyssa's been playing called Doctor Who, The Edge of Reality. She's been playing this on Xbox. She's the lone Doctor Who fanatic here amongst the three of us. Although I may be forced to watch Doctor Who by the end of the football season. I have a friendly wager with my co-host over at Packers Fan Podcast. We make predictions for the game each week, and whoever has the most points at the end of the season, the other person has to do something. And what his has to do something is I have to watch a couple episodes of Doctor Who of his choice. So
I hope
I really hope he has a good taste.
He said I have to watch the Van Gogh episode and I think the Don't Blink episode. So
yeah,
okay.
Blink's
the Van Gogh episode's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorites. I've heard. I've actually seen that episode. Believe it or
not. Don't Blink is excellent as well.
So anyway, with knowing next to nothing about Doctor Who, I know that there's a TARDIS. I know there's a sonic screwdriver. Yes. I know there's Daleks. I know the Doctor is played by a completely different, actor each season, or I guess there's multiple seasons. Sometimes they have the same Doctor, and they tie that into the story somehow with like the Doctor, going into a new body and having a new assistant and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what Edge of Reality means. Is this like a game based on an episode or a season or series of episodes, or is this its own standalone story?
This is its own standalone story, but I believe it is a console version of the VR title Edge of Time, but it's an expanded story. And this has added Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. She is the 13th Doctor, the current Doctor. And I will say, this is a game strictly for Doctor Who fans, because the gameplay itself is pretty lacking. But the Easter eggs and nods to Doctor Who history are delightful. Of course, you get to hear Jodie Whittaker in this game. I'm about halfway through it, and I still have not come across David Tennant's 10th Doctor, and he is my favorite, and I am dying to hear him. But
wait, do they have the actors voicing the Doctors?
Yes, they're voicing them.
That's cool.
And you do get to see their faces, so... Or at least Jodie Whittaker's face right now. And for the Doctor Who experience, I like it. The gameplay experience is just kind of meh.
Right.
So, and it's not a long game either. It's mostly just you're going around solving puzzles and trying to help the Doctor by just finding random objects to help her along so far in the game.
Well, I'm glad you reviewed this because I was really close to being the one to review this for us because of just scheduling and whatnot. And I sat down thinking I was going to be downloading this game, and I'm going, I don't know what I'm in for because I feel like it's going to be lost on me. But it sounds like it's a walking simulator with puzzles attached to it. Would I have been able to get through it, or do you have to have an understanding of Doctor Who, or is that just part of the enjoyment?
I would say you could get through it just on a gameplay level, finish it, but things would just go over your head if you don't watch the show or anything. All the collectible items are associated with other Doctors and other events in the series. Of course, knowing Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor and David Tennant's 10th Doctor whenever he shows up in the game is a major treat, but if you haven't watched the show, then you probably don't have a personal attachment to them. So it's definitely a game for Doctor Who fans and pretty much only Doctor Who fans.
So this kind of sounds similar to what we had about with the Voice of Cards. Like It's for the diehard fans, but even then, it's just a okay game.
I would say so, yes. The other Doctor Who game I played earlier this year is much better.
I heard it's the best Doctor Who game ever made.
I would say that's a safe assumption. I've only played 2 Doctor Who games. That one is much better than this one. But it is delightful if you're a Doctor Who fan just to see the little Easter eggs in this game. Otherwise, the gameplay, you could take it or leave it.
Fair enough.
Did they use your poll quote for the ad?
Yeah, they did.
They did, actually, yeah.
I'm for sure I have that screenshot saved.
I do too.
I was so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Zack.
We both were. I wish they would have said you
Scott.
by name instead of just the podcast. It would have been cool to be like Alyssa White.
All right, let's not get carried away. All right. Credit where it's due, okay?
Anyway, that is Doctor Who, The Edge of Reality. Again, she played that on Xbox, but it's available on other platforms as well. Let's go ahead and move on before we get to the topic. Want to remind everybody about the ways that you can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, which is facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We've got some new members over there, including Matt Martin and Carl Aguilar. Welcome to the community. Hope you're enjoying the conversations. Also, our Discord server is up and going. You can find a link for that in the show notes, and there's lots of good conversations going there. We've got channels for places to meet up with people to play games if you want to. That's also where we hang out with our community game nights, which we got to do that again. That was so much fun with Jackbox last month. We got to do that again in the very near future. Also, if you'd like to help out the show, give us a review, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, the Google Play Store, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast. Drop us a review. Let us know how we're doing. And those positive reviews help us get in the ears of other listeners. And lastly, our website, thegamingoutsider.com, is a place that you can find all of our episodes as well as all of our written content, including Alyssa's review of, I forgot the name of the game already, Bloodshore, which is up on the site now, and also Sean Coates' review of Hot Wheels Unleashed, which he was a huge fan of, and he's also a huge fan of Back to the Future, which you will find out in the review.
What do you?
But let's go.
Do you think that Matt Martin is the Matt Martin of Lucasfilm Story Group?
Well, that'd be cool.
That'd be amazing.
So
why don't you hop on Facebook and check out his profile and see if that's the case, because you would know better than I would.
No can do.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you don't have Facebook.
His meta profile.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, meta profile. Oh, the name change.
I don't even. I imagine it's still going to be called Facebook. Like the app is still going to be Facebook, right? That just would be a weird rebranding. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. It's the first of the month, and you know what that means. We asked for questions from all of you for discussion questions this week. We got quite a few, and most of them were video game related. Actually, I think all of them might have been this week, which disappoints Zack a little bit. He likes those weird questions, but let's jump right into it over on Facebook. Aaron Peterson says, what's the most emotional you've gotten while playing a video game, good and bad? This one kind of ties into another question that we're going to have. Maybe we should add that one. What do you think? Should we add that one as well? Kevin Honigford.
Sure.
No, is it different?
Yeah, I think it's different enough.
Okay, let's go ahead. What's the most emotional you've gotten playing a video game, good and bad? Zack, let's start with you.
Oh, boy. I don't know what he means by bad here. If it's supposed to be like a rage-inducing controller throwing moment.
That's what I assumed.
Okay. I don't ever have those, really.
I do. I'll admit it.
Okay, so I'm just going to answer it as I took it in my head, which is bad as in a negative emotion.
Okay.
And I think perhaps the most distraught I ever played was in Spider-Man, in Peter's final conversation with Dr. Octopus. It's just a really sad, heartbreaking, powerfully delivered scene from both actors, and it is just a phenomenal piece of storytelling that happens. And
you're making me want to replay that game now.
It's tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. And in terms of a good feeling, it's probably the new added ending of Nier Replicant, but I can't say anything more than that.
Alyssa, how about you? I don't really feel a ton of emotions playing games usually. I will say one of the most devastated moments I've been or had. I can't speak. playing a game has been that scene in The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it. But I was just like, what? They really went there.
Are you talking
about at the very end, or?
No, near the beginning.
Okay.
Oh, really, really beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I kind of figured they had to do that, but
it came as a surprise to me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good? I don't know.
He just hates video games. She hates them.
No, I have joy playing video games, so for me just to be like, I don't know what's made me like feel really, really good. I mean, so many games have made me feel good, I can't pinpoint a specific moment.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That is true.
I got a weird one, and I almost can't describe the emotion. I don't know whether to call it a good emotion or a bad emotion. But I felt affected by the ending of BioShock Infinite. I sat there while I was watching the credits, which it didn't help that you had that beautiful song sung by
Courtney Draper.
Courtney Draper and Troy Baker. Troy Baker. It was just like they were practicing this song, and let the circle be unbroken. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Oh, me too.
But that was it was such a beautiful moment, and the way that game, I felt a mixture of unsatisfaction with the story because it didn't go the way I wanted it to, but my mind was also racing with the possibilities of what that game actually was trying to wrap up at the end there, and just everything was just, I felt emotional. I didn't like weep or anything like that, but I felt flooded with emotion, like almost overwhelmingly so. Like that doesn't happen to me too much in games. I get that in movies a lot, where I'll watch a movie that I just think is particularly beautiful. I'm a sucker for movies that have like a healthy father-daughter relationship for some reason. I don't know why. I just, especially when the daughter is, really young and she's cute, and the dad just like dotes on her or whatever, and you just, just that makes me like swell with emotion, and that's the emotional feeling I got from BioShock Infinite. Just like the music and I don't want to like say what happens. I know that game's old, but I still don't want to ruin it for people that haven't had a chance to play it. But I sat there and just stared at the screen, and I've said this before. I immediately, like as soon as the credits finished rolling, I first off texted a friend of mine that is not a gamer, and I was telling her the story line by line via text. Like, this is what happened in the story, and I was just very excited about it for like an hour. I texted her the entire story, and she was just like blown away. Like, I can't believe that this is what video games do and all this, and this is amazing. And then I went back and hit start and started the game all over again, just because I wanted to experience the game. I wanted to have that feeling again. I don't know. It was very emotional. So to me, that's a good emotion. My bad emotions with video games do come in multiplayer, and maybe I get very frustrated in multiplayer games where people that have been playing it for 23.5 hours a day for the past 8 days a week are rewarded with better gear and have an advantage in multiplayer. That drives me crazy. That's kind of why I liked Gears, because Gears was always equal. It was always
I'm the
balanced.
same way. I really like Gears multiplayer, but the other multiplayers, I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah, like if I get beaten Gears, it's because I suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I get beaten in Call of Duty, it's because I didn't pay for the extra weapons, or I didn't, I just, I don't know. It just drives me crazy, and I get very frustrated.
The time to kill is so short in Call of Duty that it's just not fun. It's just whoever saw the other person first wins.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I know what I'm talking about. Sure, I believe you.
I'm right, as always.
Are you? Yeah. Speaking of, we got to get on and play some more Lemnis Gate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm game.
We need
Let
to
me
do
know.
that this
Hit me
week.
up.
Boy, I that's all I can really think of for bad emotions without getting into another question that was given to another listener here soon. But
I have a great bad emotion.
Okay.
When I was first met my dad, because I didn't meet my dad until a few years into my life, and we played Madden together, still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And he crushed me, just beat me so bad. He was probably 50 points up at halftime. And just wouldn't let me get in. He was knocking out interceptions, all this. Now, you remember, I'm a child in the story. I start crying because there's just nothing I can do. It's just so frustrating. And you have the full length quarters, and he just kept laying on more points. No sportsmanship, no honor at all. Just kept bearing it in. He said it was so I, learned not to be a sore loser. And maybe I was a sore loser, but I was also probably 9. So there's a great bad memory right there. The tears flowing. I didn't want to play Madden again. I'll tell you what, I'll never let him beat me in Madden again.
Yeah.
So there is that tenacity. He probably did put tenacity in me. But boy.
And he'll take that quote that you just said and say, that's why I did it.
Yes. He will listen to this episode, and then he will text me and be like, see, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know your dad, so I know.
Yeah, I have a long history of being motivated by spite alone, so.
That's true. Zack, why don't you take the next comment?
Sure thing. Sean Coates writes in, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on something that's been bugging me. Every time a new Assassin's Creed or a new Far Cry game gets released, I keep seeing article upon article with headlines akin to things like, Ubisoft formula is growing tiresome, yet we all clamor for the next Mario game and will happily rescue the princess for the 100th time or whatever. So aside from the obvious answer that sites want the metrics and the clickbait, why is it that we as gamers can't seem to make up our minds about what we want or expect from new games? I think this is a really good question.
I agree. I think a lot of it has to do. I mean, there's different demographics of gamers, right? Mm-hmm. You're comparing Nintendo gamers. I mean, some of us play everything, right? A lot of us play everything, but there are subsets of gamers out there that play just Nintendo games or just Far Cry games, right? And I think historically, Nintendo fans are okay with getting things over and over and over again. I mean, I'll admit it. I've played countless Mario games. Countless. I think this was brought up because of Metroid, right? Because Metroid and Far Cry both came out at the same time, and everyone was complaining about Far Cry 5 being, Far Cry 6 being just another Far Cry game, whereas Metroid is just another Metroid game, and it was getting praised for being But the difference is that we don't get a new Metroid game. We haven't had a new Metroid game, 2D Metroid game in 17 years or something. Whereas
right.
Far Cry 5 was 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Or 3 years ago, I guess. But I think that's part of it, is the amount of time between those. Now, Mario's an exception, right? Not really. Mario Odyssey was the last 3D Mario platformer, right?
Yeah.
Have we had one since?
Yeah.
Well, they had Bowser's Fury, that was new.
True.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. We had 3D Mario World, which nobody played on Wii U.
No. But yeah.
So it was basically a new game.
I'm guilty. Bowser's Fury was exquisite.
Yeah.
I'm all in. But, But I also didn't love Odyssey head over heels like a lot of people. I think a lot of it is the pace, what you're saying, just the rate of release. And also specific to Ubisoft, they use the same template for every franchise now. So it is just... You're getting several of these a year, not just the Far Cry,
That is true.
I was actually with Sean, a lot of the, our fellow critics out there, as it were. I was a little tired of the it's just another Far Cry. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen when you press the start button?
Right.
Like they've been clear in the marketing that this is exactly what it is. Like they haven't no deception along any route. Like it should be measured on, but how good is it as a Far Cry game? How does it stack up to 5 or whatever? But I think a lot of the frustration on the media side is that if you want to cover these games in time, they keep bloating bigger and bigger every release. So there's an inherent frustration of oh, I got to do another one of these. I just got through Watch Dogs Legions. That was 50 hours that I had to get through for a review, and oh, now I got to do Far Cry. And I understand that it probably sounds like a first world problem, but it's probably just like a carpenter going oh man, I gotta set up another slanted room of drywall,
right.
It's just a frustration on the job. And because they control the conversation, Sean, that's probably why you hear about it. But I think you look at the sales numbers and you look at the player feedback, and it's both those things have been largely positive. So I think it's just the conversation. And when it comes to Nintendo, they get a pass for whatever they want to do all the time. It's very frustrating. And I think that, while I continue my monologue here, I think that has to do with that Nintendo is the Disney of video games, right? So it is almost tied in directly to everyone's childhoods if you're a huge gamer. So you do get the rose-colored glasses, you get the blinders on because you want to be cuddled up in that warm Metroid blanket because you remember when you were a kid playing Super Metroid on Super Nintendo, world was a little bit simpler, right? So you kind of get taken back there a little bit with a new Metroid.
Yeah, it's not like that with Far Cry, even though Far Cry may have been some kids' first gaming experience, but it's not warm and cuddly.
Right.
And I don't mean that necessarily like I don't mean that like in a Mario sense, but there's something accessible about Nintendo games.
Yeah, Nintendo's, it's almost like a sitcom, right? Like how a sitcom is safe, dependable, it'll make you feel good by the end of the hour. And Nintendo games, they will always make you feel good. They will never challenge you. They will, you will never have to rethink your moral compass on the world. You know what I mean? Like it's
right, but also stuff. Using your same analogy, Nintendo sitcoms have a Game of Thrones budget behind them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That
So you're getting that warm, cuddly blanket with high quality graphics and controls and mechanics. Like everything just works the way it's supposed to. And like, when's the last time you played a Nintendo game that had hiccups or frame rate issues or, you know what I mean? Or needed to be patched
outside of the Skyward Sword motion controls, I guess.
Right, which
yeah,
is what it is.
Kudos, they made that work at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and you're right. Nintendo doesn't misfire a lot, although obviously that Nintendo, they do scummy things all the time, like the Mario All-Stars package. But gamers have the attention span and memory length of, I guess, a cockroach because nobody ever remembers or cares about being wronged.
Well, and the point I was going to make with Sean's question too is I think that we're hearing the vocal minority because everybody that I've talked to that's played Far Cry 6 says this is exactly what I wanted in a Far Cry game, and it looks gorgeous, and the improvements are very much welcome. Like it's just enough different. So I think we're just hearing the loud voices that are negative about it, and I mean we live in a world too where everybody just wants to have a hot take. Everyone has a hot take about something.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like nobody hates video games and the people that play them more than the major video game media sites.
Yeah.
There's a weird disdain they seem to have for gamers. So I wouldn't put too much stock into it, Sean. Just like what you like.
Alyssa, I feel like I've cut you off a couple of times. Did you have more to add?
Pretty much everything you guys said, I agree with. I think that people don't have an issue, with Mario games being similar because of nostalgic purposes, and plus they don't come out every single year, every 2 years or whatever. And most Ubisoft games, have the same template, like Zack said. Assassin's Creed, pretty much the same every time, just a different story, different history.
But Far Cry, I ate those up.
But even you got tired, right? You didn't play Valhalla.
Yeah, but that wasn't a lack of interest. That was I don't have 150 hours and I can't play video games on the clock like some other people on this podcast. So.
I think a lot of it does. I mean, the bloat of these games is getting outrageous as well. A Mario game you can 100% in 12 hours.
Right.
Yeah, that goes a long way as well.
I miss 100%ing Mario games like Mario Odyssey, or not Mario Odyssey, but Mario Galaxy 2 was just so much fun.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite Mario for sure.
Oh, it's so good.
Weirdly left out of the 3D collection.
Yeah,
it was.
There's gonna be another one.
That's
there's gotta be
exactly right. Yes,
100%. Galaxy 2. What else?
Oh,
what other 3D ones are left?
My assumption was that they would just add Galaxy 2 and put it out again next, like a couple years from now at $60 again. That's the Nintendo move. It
would sell.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
True.
And the funny thing is I bought that collection. I played Mario 64. I 100%ed the first 2 or 3 worlds and never went back. I played Sunshine for an hour and a half, never went back. I can't remember what the third game in that was. Was it Galaxy? Yeah, it was Galaxy.
Yeah, it's Galaxy.
I played Galaxy even less, which is weird because to me that's the best of those games is Galaxy.
Definitely.
And I played it the least. So I don't know. I won't buy it again. What am I saying? It's a collector's item.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
All they'll have to do is be like, hey, it's only going to be in stores for 6 months. You'd be like, well, I got to get it before it's gone.
I know.
You know what's funny
It's
is
like they did with the other pack.
I keep seeing it for sale all over the place too. It's like
yeah.
Like
I think there was like some Reddit post where like Target put it on clearance because they were just trying to get rid of their extra copies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was not the scarcity issue that we were led to believe it was.
Absolutely. All right, Alyssa, you are up.
Okay, Thomas Bex has a very interesting question here. It says, you are designing a gaming calendar where every month is represented by a game. Which 12 games do you pick for which months? And I see that Scott understood the assignment while me and Zach have not.
Well, I thought it would be more fun instead of going through 36 games if we had to come to consensus on each month. I thought that would be
okay.
Well,
Scott, I had a method to my madness.
With Scott, I assume. Wait, hold on. I have a guess for your madness.
Well, can I read it and then see if
Fine,
you can?
Whatever. Selfish.
Well, what is it? I want the listeners can't read it like you can read it.
Read your list.
So I did do my homework on this one. So January it's gonna be Final Fantasy VII. February Horizon Zero Dawn. March Super Metroid. April Portal 2. May Super Mario Galaxy 2. June Tetris. July Limbo. August GoldenEye. September Borderlands 2. October Dead Space. November Link to the Past, and December Mega Man X. It should be pretty obvious what my rationale was here. Did you go ahead, Zach?
Is it your favorite game released in each month?
That I could find, yes.
Okay.
So each game that I put in specific months actually was released in that month. So Dead Space came out in October. Tetris was released in June. And you'd be shocked at how difficult it is to find online what games were released in the month of April. That is not a Google search that exists.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of go through. I actually did some homework and I had to go through like a Wikipedia and go like year by year, scroll down to specific months, and yeah, it was interesting. So,
man,
but you guys want to come to a consensus?
I mean, I don't know. Well, now I feel like you stole the thunder. I don't know.
Soul of Thunder. That's just my list.
Well, so Alyssa, what do you think? Did you have a list ready, Alyssa?
I do not have a list ready. I could probably name my 12 of my favorite games and just be like, that'd be the calendar.
Yeah. I don't know. The one that I thought was essential was February should be Catherine.
Oh, that's a good call.
That'd be good.
Yeah. I think that would be
okay. Yeah, let's do this with themes of like the month. January, New Year's. What game would go with
right
starting the year fresh kind of mentality?
Maybe a Dark Souls, right? Because you're constantly restarting in that game. You know, a little fresh start, or maybe that's just
or any roguelike, really.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's fine. But as long as it's not Binding of Isaac.
Well, I was looking because I started like Alyssa did with like favorite games, and again, Binding of Isaac is up there. But if I'm putting on a calendar, I want it to have some artistic flair, and I don't think of Binding of Isaac as like something I would want to make.
Monsters didn't do it for you.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm thinking like some game where like a character's memory is wiped and kind of restarts. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, what are good games? I mean, you could even put like Metroid games in there, right? Because
what about BioShock? Because you can come back to life in the Vita Chamber. It's a fresh start for Jack because his memory got his
soul
wiped and he's free.
Me too.
Now. January.
That'd be
BioShock.
gorgeous artwork.
Yes,
I like it. All right, so we have February. You said Catherine.
Absolutely.
For Valentine's Day.
I'm proud of that one.
Great. Valentine's Day. Game about cheating.
What speaks to men more? Am I right?
All right. How about March? Winter month.
March.
It's usually pretty snowy.
St. Patrick's Day is in that month, so
Okay.
something.
Grand Theft
Are there
Auto
any
3.
Irish games?
I was thinking like Lost Planet. Wasn't Lost Planet 2 that took place on a nice planet?
No, I think Lost Planet 1 did. Yeah.
Lost Planet 1?
Yeah, that works for me. I don't know. That's an unusual pull. What
What other games take place in winter that are notable?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could think of a Christmas game, but I'm obviously saving that.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah, so I don't know, Lost Planet. Yeah, I'll go Lost Planet.
Okay. Lost Planet.
I'll go with it.
April. Starting to get a little bit early spring. Things are coming out. I don't know, Flower?
Oh, that's good. Well,
or would that be May? May would make more sense for Flower, right?
Yeah.
Is there a game where it just rains nonstop?
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain,
yeah. April. Okay, so April is Heavy Rain, and then May is Flower.
Gonna be Flower.
That's perfect.
Hey,
this
is working.
We're
all right.
killing this. This is fun.
Yeah. All right. So June, early summer. It's starting to get pretty warm.
Father's Day, The Last of Us.
Oh,
that's good.
I like it. Yeah, Last of Us works for me. I think that's sold. Even though it's not a real father-daughter relationship, but it's very close.
Whoa, that's not nice. Don't say that. I don't think Joel would appreciate
He is an actual dad.
Well, yes, but also,
I mean, biologically speaking,
blood. The blood of the covenant.
What a way to kick off Father's Day with that opening scene.
Oh, that's even better. Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, July. Right in the heart of summer, Independence Day.
Right, America.
I think Bioshock Infinite would work for that.
Bioshock Infinite was what I was thinking.
We want to double dip in the Bioshock pool, though?
I mean, they're pretty different. I mean, it's not set in the same world.
I know you guys have love for the game. I obviously don't.
Well, what else can you do? Like, what are the theme of, July 4th?
Yeah, I guess.
Are there any other games?
Contra? I don't know.
Contra?
I don't know, unless you put Duke Nukem there because America.
Right. Well, it's just funny because I don't think you get a much more anti-American game than Bioshock Infinite.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's covered with like you shoot Uncle Sam's and George Washington's.
Hell yeah, you do. All right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Or it's either that or what about Assassin's Creed 3? That's about the birth of the nation.
Oh, you know what? That might even be a better call, actually. And then we can keep
forgot about that.
We can keep from double dipping on Bioshock.
I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Assassin's Creed 3.
I like it. Assassin's Creed 3. All right. August. Early. It's still summer, right?
Kind of a waste of a month.
Like, what happens in August? What holidays are in
Nothing
August?
happened. There are no holidays in August. It's the only month without a holiday.
Can we just put Gears of War 2 on there because it's awesome?
Okay.
Is that
I'm
possible?
sold.
Yeah, sure.
Melissa, you cool with that? All right.
I'm cool with it.
Done.
All right. September. What do we get? Labor Day?
Right.
Is that Labor Day?
Stanley Parable?
I've never played it, so I don't catch the
I
reference.
haven't played it either.
It is, no, you're right.
It takes place in an office, right?
Labor Day, Paperboy?
Oh, I kind of like that. Is the art great in Paperboy, though?
I don't know. I mean, surely there has to be some ridiculous box art for Paperboy.
It's a kid holding a paper in his hand while he's riding a bicycle. I mean, it's
Crazy Taxi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Historically
kind of like
significant.
that one.
Yeah.
You can't put music on a calendar, man. Unless it's like when you get to that month, it's like one of those greeting cards that like opens up and plays music.
And every time you walk past your calendar, it just goes, yeah.
Yeah, then it's got like the little motion sensor in it.
Oh, see, now he really sold it, though.
Now we sold it. Okay. So Crazy Taxi for September. October should be easy.
Yeah, October remains Dead Space, right?
I'm perfectly okay with it being Dead Space.
Yeah, I'm fine with Dead Space.
Makes sense to me.
November, Thanksgiving, Veterans Day. Do we put some
Is that right?
Call of Duty game in there?
For some reason, November immediately conjures to mind Halo to me.
Is it because it released in
I think
November?
It did. Yeah, well, the original Xbox did. For sure.
And there's no Thanksgiving video games that I can think of.
No. That'd be kind of
Anything
weird.
that involves turkeys or... I got it. The Division.
Is that... Oh, because of Black Friday?
Oh, yeah.
Because of Black Friday.
Yeah.
The Division was... The plague started on Black Friday with the passing of money.
Wow, what a pull. I like that. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well done.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
So
appreciate it.
November is the Division, and then December is, I assume, is going to be another easy one because there's so many opportunities. What was your Christmas entry?
My Christmas entry would be Arkham Origins because it takes place during Christmas.
Okay.
But I can tell you're not. I can tell you're not sold.
No. I've never played it. I played just the beginning of that game.
The first Max Payne.
Okay, wasn't there a Dead what's the zombie game that Dead Rising? Was it one of the Dead Rising games, like Dead Rising 3 or
Oh,
Dead
I don't
Rising?
know.
I thought one of them was centered around Christmas, like when it was in the mall at Christmas time.
Nobody cares about Dead Rising.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay, I don't remember. I can't think of any of the Christmas games now. I said it was going to be an easy one, but we'll go with
I'm
yours,
trying to
man.
think of Christmas games. I can't think of any.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Well,
I feel like it's a weird gap, right?
Yeah, like it should be an easy one to do.
Right,
I
like,
mean,
the only Christmas games I can think of are Max Payne and Arkham Origins.
let's just go with Max Payne then.
Okay,
That's one of your favorite series, and
of course. Yeah, it takes place during the worst blizzard in New York history.
I'm trying to. There's got to be like what are the adventure games? Or not adventure games, but Life is Strange. Didn't one of those take place around Christmas? Or am I imagining that?
I really don't think so.
No,
I don't think.
I'm thinking of some adventure game like that, like a Telltale style game somewhere. Maybe I'm imagining it, but I'm okay with Max Payne.
Max Payne, cool.
Yeah, it's a
I am
pretty
as well.
iconic.
And it's good because, for all the people who don't have family on Christmas, you can be just as depressed as Max Payne and lose yourself in alcohol and painkillers.
Oh no!
Alcohol and painkillers.
The heartbreak month for the heartbreak man.
Well, we spent a lot more time on that question than I expected we would. That was fun,
Yeah,
guys.
That was fun. That was a
That
fun
was
little
fun.
exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas, for that one. That turned out really well. Who's up? Am I up?
It is your turn.
Mark Szymanski. While it would be rude of me to get one of the Go-casters to say Superman 64 is the best game of all time,
Well, you fell right into
Well,
that trap.
I did just fall in that trap. I know you've answered it before, but what is your favorite entry in these prolific game series like Mario, Zelda, Sonic, Far Cry, etc.? All right, Mario. I think Zack and I are in agreement on this one.
Galaxy 2.
Galaxy 2, yeah. I think it is
I'm
hands
not
down
a
the best.
Mario fan.
Which ones have you played?
I'm just gonna cut. I played New Super Mario Brothers U on Wii U.
Well, that's
Didn't
your
like
problem.
It.
Terrible game.
And I think that might be it.
That explains why you don't like Mario games.
But I'm also not a fan of Sonic. I played the first Sonic. I played Sonic, the one that came out a few years ago. That everyone loved.
Mania?
Sonic Mania.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't like that one.
That's what,
And I'm not a huge Zelda fan, so I'm not a very good person to ask this question. So,
So you don't
What about
like
Far
Mario,
Cry?
you don't like Zelda, you don't like Sonic. Do you like Far Cry?
my favorite Far Cry so far is Far Cry 3. I loved Voss as the villain.
I will agree with you. 3 still remains my favorite, even though I think the games have been technically superior as they go up. 3 just will always take the cake for me. What a fun villain. Although Jacob Seed was pretty fun too, but in a different way.
He was, yeah.
Disgusting name.
Yeah,
I think it was
I do hate the
intentional.
last name.
No, I know it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. Ugh. Seed.
All right, so Zach, you and I are both in agreement. Galaxy 2 for Mario.
Correct.
Zelda,
Zelda we differ big
definitely,
time.
yeah, definitely big time.
In fact, my favorite Zelda is Majora's Mask.
Uh-huh.
Scott's, yours is A Link to the Past, obviously.
Link to the Past.
I feel
Ocarina
like-
is a close second.
I would agree Ocarina is a close second for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you dislike Majora's Mask, right? Because of the timer?
I disliked it at the time. I have not touched it since because I had such a foul taste in my mouth with it. Like, I've never struggled so much to finish a Zelda game that wasn't called Skyward Sword.
Yes, well, that game. Oof.
But-
Skyward Sword.
The dungeons were great. I enjoyed the dungeons in that, but it took so freaking long to get to the dungeons in Majora's Mask, and it just ruined the fun for me. I would kind of like to go back and revisit it with my adult eyes because I had to have been 1920 when that game came out, 2021.
I mean, that's a really impatient age.
Yeah, so I'm double the age of when that game came out. So that would be fun to go back and revisit, and it's going to be coming to Switch Online. So maybe it's time to make that happen.
I wonder how good that port will be.
I think we'll report back on that next week. Yeah.
Well, not Majora's, but
No. Just like the service in general. I meant.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Whereas I think A Link to the Past is like a really strong overworld, and I think the dungeons are a little lacking.
seriously, I love the dungeons.
I
in
know.
that game.
Yeah. There's especially towards the later third of the game, A Link to the Past gets like really combat heavy to me, and a lot less head scratchy. But I guess it's also been a while since I played it. But
I don't. I remember the bosses are always really cool.
Oh yeah, of course.
Anyway, Sonic is a hard one for me to answer because I don't even feel like I'd answer that honestly. I've dabbled.
Sonic Adventure 2 is the best Sonic game.
Okay.
I love it to death.
I remember the intro to Sonic Adventure 1 kind of blowing my mind at the time.
Yeah.
That was just fun to do.
I mean, the intro to Sonic Adventure 2 is, he jumps out of a helicopter, Sonic, and then he just skateboards around town while City Escapes playing in the background. It's pretty tremendous. It's also the introduction of Shadow, who is an exquisite character, of course, who would later have his own game where he had a machine gun for some reason. I've always said Sonic is a franchise where I've never played a game that I didn't like in it. Even the bad games, I find something to like.
Change my answer. My favorite Sonic game is Sonic Spinball.
There you go. I think you broke Kevin Hollingford's heart.
No, he says he likes Sonic Spinball, but it's not, obviously going to be his favorite.
Right, it's not like that.
Favorite.
As for Far Cry, I guess my favorite is Far Cry Instincts on the original Xbox. Which I
did not know that was a game.
Which
I didn't either.
I think it's a modified version of the original game for consoles.
Oh, okay.
But you get like injected with a serum that makes you have like animal superpowers or something. It's really strange.
Sounds insane.
Yeah, but the map editor was cool, and if you can somehow play Far Cry Instincts, and then I think they did a 360 version, which is Far Cry Instincts Predator. If you can play those games, those are rad, man.
I will tell you that Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 do get to levels of ridiculousness in that. Even though the veneer of those games is it's very much grounded in reality, it goes places. Not for long.
Which is funny when you contrast to Far Cry 2, where like there was fire propagation and guns jammed if they got too dirty, and you had to take malaria medication. Your vision would blur. Yeah. I mean, that's the weird game in the franchise.
Right. Now, it's a weird game in the franchise.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like I feel so guilty for not liking Mario and Sonic and Zelda, but I feel like if I had been exposed to those as a child, maybe I would have different opinions.
Probably,
but my uncle was not a fan of those games. And he was the one that got me into gaming, so I played Tomb Raider, Devil May Cry, Legacy of Kain, Resident Evil growing up, so I didn't get to play those.
What's your favorite Tomb Raider?
I'm playing them now.
You're also half my age, so there's that
what
too.
What was that, Zach?
What's your favorite Tomb Raider?
I want to say the first one just because I played it so many times, but I did attempt to play it again a few years back, and the visuals are so terrible now.
Yeah. And also the controls.
But that's the one I have the most fun memories of, though.
She's got Kleenex boxes shoved under her shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh yeah, with the weirdly the
triangles.
Yeah. She was so hot. You remember the ending of Tomb Raider 2, where you had to fight the final gunfight in a bathrobe because the mafia attacks your home as Lara?
Yes.
And she was just about to take a shower, so of course you have to battle in a bathrobe. But then it's pretty great. Go ahead, Alyssa.
I was to say, in my memory, it seems like, do the credits roll before that? It like fakes you out, thinking you've already finished the game, and then that happens. Like you see the shower scene, and then you have to fight.
That sounds right. She's approaching it, and then I think you just have the shotgun for the final fight. But then the expert level joke is after that she is about to finally take her shower, even though her mansion is littered with the dead. But she looks at the camera and says, because as she's about to undress, and she just goes like, "Don't you think you've seen enough?" And then shoots the camera. Which is pretty great.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, that's very vividly in my memory as well.
Yeah, that game rocks.
I did not play the originals. I mean, I played enough to get frustrated, especially whenever she got in the water. But most of my tomb raiding has been on Xbox 360 and higher.
The modern era.
Yeah. Or was that 360?
I love those games.
Was that Xbox One?
That was 360.
Yeah, the first one was 360.
No, I'm talking about like when they rebooted it.
Yeah,
like
the first one was on 360.
Was it really? Man.
2013, man.
Does not seem that long ago. All right. I think you're up, Zach.
Kevin Hannaford writes in, what character were you invested in the most that completely blew you away when you discovered their fate? Maybe it made you sad, maybe angry, maybe a mixture of feelings. Mine is old school.
Don't say it.
Okay. Well.
Oh, well, too late now.
I mean, how's that? I mean,
yeah,
something
okay.
happens to a character in Final Fantasy VII. It's not a spoiler.
Fair enough. I just know one person that listens that has not played that game yet still, or is playing it currently.
Okay, I mean, yes, things happen. Things happen to Cloud. Things happen to Barrett. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
I would say Barrett has possibly the most tragic story in that game. Anyway,
yeah.
Not
Barrett,
for nothing.
Anyway, Alyssa, what's yours?
I'm gonna go with, without spoiling anything, Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite at the end when you find out her whole story.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect it.
I didn't either.
And I was just mind blown. It was just wonderful writing and just, it's genius. Just how it all wraps up and ties in together.
Yeah.
It had an emotional impact on me too. I like it. Zach, I have a feeling you and I have the same answer, but I could be wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of scary. To the point of the most blown away would be what happens to the Joker, really, in Arkham City.
Okay.
That it actually stays solidified. But now what's your answer, Scott?
Gears 3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I was blown. Something happens in Gears 2 that, wounded me.
Yeah, but we weren't close to that character.
I understand.
Right? We felt for that character that dealt with that. In Gears 3, we were close to that character.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I
like how I'm dancing?
What's that?
Is it like how I'm dancing?
Yeah, it's expert level. It's kind of a hard question to answer without dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is weird. Yeah, the Joker's my first answer just because they do something that is rather ballsy, and then they stick with it, which is ballsier. But I guess I wasn't.
And in subsequent games, they stick with it.
Yeah, it's
in interesting ways.
Very impressive. In terms of a character I actually like, though, it might be Mona Sax's fate in Max Payne 2.
Okay.
But that's a different story.
Nice. All right, moving on. Who's up? Alyssa, you're up.
It's my turn. David Newman asks, most surprisingly good game in the last 3 years, and the most surprisingly bad video game.
Most surprisingly bad video game for me was Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood, which I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for because a lot of people like that game. I did not enjoy that game. I was so glad that CB wanted to review that game and glad that he liked it and recommended it to people because that felt like a bad PS2 game to me. And I think that's why people liked it, but I didn't like it. Surprisingly good is harder because
yeah.
I don't know if it's because we try to go through as many games as we can. I feel like I'm not as surprised. Although, Zach, you were surprised last week, right?
What did I play last week? Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, whoa, I didn't even think about that because, yeah, that's probably my answer. Yeah, that game is incredible. And
which doesn't help David because he finished it like 2 days ago.
Huh?
Which doesn't help David because he finished it like this week.
Oh, I mean, well, that's, he's just asking. I mean, that game, yeah, is great. And coming off of Avengers, you weren't expecting a lot. And then the marketing for this game was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, like, most of the trailers were just like cutscenes that played. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Very strange. Yeah, for it to be as good as it is, almost remarkable.
Nice. Do you have any, Alyssa?
I would say surprisingly bad game I've played in the last 3 years. Definitely Eternity: The Last Unicorn. That is the lowest rated game I've reviewed for the site.
I didn't remember you reviewing that. I don't even remember that game at all.
That was the first year I started reviewing for the site.
Okay.
And I played that game and I was like, nope. This is awful.
I cannot even picture what that game is.
It's like a Dark Souls clone, but it doesn't tell you that, and you think you're just going to play a game about a unicorn.
That's unfortunate. Again,
I'm trying to think of surprisingly good. Because like you said, we play so many, and then...
Well, it's hard to remember the surprise of it being good because you get wrapped up in it being good, and yeah, because of our, how quickly we're trying to get through games because of all, the review games, it's hard to have time for the chancier games out there.
I don't even know how old it is now. How old is Shovel Knight? That's over 3 years, probably.
Oh yeah, way over 3 years.
Like I expected to like that game, but not as much as I did. Undermine was a surprise for me.
There you go.
Because it had been out for a while, and then landed on Game Pass, and I was like, I might as well try this out. I like roguelikes, and 150 hours later, I still haven't finished that game. So
Hades, that's a good one for me.
That's a good one for you, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like roguelikes at all, but I loved Hades.
Mm-hmm.
Put so much time into that. Surprisingly bad for me is should be no surprise. It's 12 minutes.
Oh yeah,
a game I was stoked on. Couldn't wait. Downloaded at minute 1. Sucked. One of the worst games I ever played.
Go listen to our Patreon episode.
Was Celeste released in the last 3 years?
No,
Sorry to interrupt.
That's gotta be well over 3 years, isn't it?
Okay.
I don't know. Why do you not like Celeste, or is it a surprisingly good game?
No, it's surprisingly good because I'm not the biggest platformer fan, especially when it's brutally difficult, but I loved Celeste.
Yo, shout out to Iconoclast while we're on the topic.
That's a good call.
That's a surprisingly good game. If you've not played Iconoclast, play it. If you like 2D gear-gated adventures.
I'll count it, Alyssa. Celeste released January 25th of 2018, so no, actually it's just closer to 4 years than 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know. That's good enough.
So it didn't come out. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to make
it released on Windows, Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Mac, Linux. It didn't release on Stadia until July 20th, 2020. So we'll just go with that.
Okay.
And the DLC came out in 2019. So yeah, we'll say that counts. That is a game that any platformer fan should play. The cool thing about playing that game too is even after you beat it, going through and playing it again is still fun. Because you forget, and it's fun to relive that. Oh, I remember when I came across this moment, and you get kind of like relearning it. So that's a good call. All right, World Reaper on Discord said, were there any game you played that surprisingly ended up being in a shared universe as a different game? For example, I was delightfully surprised to learn that the upcoming Suicide Squad game takes place in the Arkham gameverse. Did you guys have any for this one?
That's a difficult one.
I
had to do some searching for this one. I didn't have this one off the top of my head.
The easy,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. The easy and perhaps too recent answer for me is Control, being the same universe as Alan Wake.
Yeah,
I did not
know that easy answer.
I did not know that was coming. And when you get to the case file about the town of Bright Falls, I remember standing up and going, "What? What?" And then looking at my X and being just like, "How is this happening? What is happening? I can't believe this. Oh my god." So probably that.
Sometimes I wish there were a camera on Zack's television.
I mean, it just came out of nowhere, right? Like it's such a known quantity now that it's a shared universe, but you didn't know that going into Control. You just thought it was the new Remedy
That's
IP.
True. Right.
And they never overtly tell it there's an Alan Wake Easter egg, but it's so out of the way, and yeah, you just have to come across that file basically. Whew, that's a good one.
Man, I love Control. Just some bizarre moments that were memorable. Remember the mirror?
Oh yeah, Mirror World. You get the best costume. Being that.
Oh man, that was so freaking cool.
Yeah, man, it was a 3D gear gated game, which are all too rare.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. For me, I learned today that. Do you remember the game Commander Keen? Do either of you know what that game is?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
I only know of it because it has an Easter egg in almost every id game.
Oh, does it? Okay. Well,
finding you find an action figure or something, nothing like what you're about to talk about.
Well, it is an id game. Commander Keen was a very early id game that was a 2D platform where you played as a character, like a 9-year-old kid that wore a green and yellow helmet and jumped around on a pogo stick. Collecting gems, and it was a very quirky, weird game. But those guys over at id, that's John Carmack, right? John Carmack,
Correct.
John Romero, like announced on Twitter, like not very recently, but like well after Commander Keen released, that Commander Keen is actually the grandson of B.J. Blazkowicz in Wolfenstein, which is, who knew? I mean, they're made by the same company, but what a bizarre set of games to be in the same universe. Although technically, it's probably retconned a little bit. It's got to be, right? But they didn't do that and have that in mind when they were making Wolfenstein and Commander Keen back in the day. Yeah, these kids are related.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, did you have one, Alyssa, or no?
I can't think of one.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Zach, are we back to you?
Yeah. Aaron Hughes II writes in, besides Stemage / Metroid Metal, who is the greatest game-related artists, whether original like named above or OG like Nobuo Uematsu? Anyway, tough question for me. I don't really listen to a lot of music.
Okay. Alyssa, do you listen to video game music?
Not particularly.
All right. I guess this one's all on me.
Well, I mean, of course I like composers like Uematsu or Shoji Meguro or Akira Toriyama. Or, no, that's Dragon Ball. Yami. Oh, man, who's the Silent Hill guy? Anyway, Yamioka. Eiichi Okabe. But, I mean, those are all, game composers, but...
I mean, he said it could be original.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I listen to occasionally video game music. I just don't listen. Why listen to music when you could be listening to an audiobook or a podcast?
Look at you. Look at you. For me, obviously, Stemage, Metroid Metal is where it's at. However, I first started listening to video game music when I discovered a band called The Advantage. That is a rock band that basically does covers of games from the NES era. They're really good. Arm Cannon is really good. And what's funny is I think Grant from Stemage and Metroid Metal like knows all these guys personally, which is a coincidence. It was not that I sought these out or learned about them from him. I sought them out after I listened to Metroid Metal back in the day. I was like, I want to listen to more stuff like this. And apparently they know each other. Arm Cannon is a great one. They do a cover of the haunted, like in Super Mario World, when you go into the ghost mansions, they do a version that you have to check out sometime, dude, with headphones on. It is shockingly good. It's really good. Vomitron is a band I really like. They've got an album called No Ness for the Wicked that has a pretty good album cover I recommend. And they do like metal versions of songs from the NES era. And my last recommendation is, I assume a lot of people know who Smooth McGroove is. He is a one-man show that does the Bobby McFerrin thing, where he like records his own voice doing different parts of the same song and layers them on top of each other.
Acapella guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Acapella. He's got a black cat that makes an appearance in his videos quite often. Shockingly talented. Just it's amazing what that dude is able to do in terms of vocal range, and then he does whistles and percussion and stuff all with his mouth, and it's quite good. He actually has albums you can buy on iTunes. So yeah, The Advantage, Arm Cannon, Vomitron, and Smooth McGroove were the top ones that I would recommend. But there are countless others. If you search video game music on iTunes or Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you use, there's tons of good stuff out there. I'm sure Grant could make some recommendations. We need to ask him next time we have him on for what ones he would recommend as well. Oh, Do a Barrel Roll is a band I met when I was up in Minneapolis. The first time I got to meet Grant in person, actually. We met the guys from Do a Barrel Roll, and they're a lot of fun, which I thought was a great video game band name as well.
Oh, so yeah, that's a great band name.
Yeah. All right. Alyssa, you're up.
Silly Willy asks, the episode where Zack and Scott discussed their go-to games when stressed got me thinking about how, in my experience, the games I gravitate towards in general are similar genres and styles to the stuff I first played when I started playing video games. Do you guys think that there is somewhat of a psychological element at play due to the familiarity?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Zack touched on that already a little bit, that warm blanket of Nintendo, right? There's something comforting and brings you back to simpler times when you were a kid and didn't have all the responsibilities of adulthood. And as much as we like to say, video games aren't just for kids; they're for adults too. They're for adults because it brings us back to when we were kids.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I push back because my example of the stress reliever game was Arkham City, which came out when I was 20. So I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I also
I'm not saying I don't think he's saying with everything. In his case, the things that he plays for stress relief are ones that are there. That's just him.
Yeah,
but he's saying, does the nostalgia play? Does the familiarity play a role
in the stress relief? Yeah, then sure, yeah, of course.
Not in a definitive stance, but
yeah.
Or at least I didn't take it that way. Maybe I'm misreading it.
I don't have a lot of childhood nostalgia. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Which you can hear extensively on my podcast, Smirk.
Aw, now I'm sad.
It's okay. It's probably why the Toy Story movies don't connect to me. You know, it's just not a time in my life I long to return to. That's all.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
what about you, Alyssa?
This isn't my therapy podcast.
I don't really have any kind of comfort games I play when I'm stressed. I just play whatever I'm playing at the moment. But I do tend to play, the similar genres I played as a kid. Obviously, like I said, Tomb Raider and Devil May Cry and Resident Evil. And I do enjoy visual novels. Did not play those as a child, but I love to read, and I'm a weeb. So, right. I mean, most of it, similar genres to what I played as a kid. So if I'm feeling stressed, the game I'm playing is probably a genre that I played as a child.
Why is it called weeb again?
It's actually kind of an insult. It's short for weeaboo.
What's weeaboo mean?
It's just someone that is extremely into primarily anime and manga to an unhealthy degree.
Yeah, and I think it is a specific, like, Japanese, almost like a slur word for, like, white people that are way into their culture.
And we've just kind of adopted it as, kind of like geek or nerd, but now we just say weeb.
Yeah, because I think...
You wear it like a shield of armor. They can't hurt you with it.
Yeah.
Because I think if you are Japanese, you're an otaku, if you're into that kind of stuff.
I've heard otaku is more about... It encompasses anime and manga as well, but it's also, technology and the Japanese way of life and being really into Japan itself.
Okay.
Is otaku.
Okay, all right.
I'm learning all kinds of things today.
That's where Otacon in Metal Gear Solid gets his name from, Scott. He's an otaku.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Fun fact. Interesting. Look at you. You're learning all kinds of stuff.
I know. I'm just getting truth bullets fired at me all over the place. Anyway, who's up?
Zack, I think, is up.
That's fine. Drew Ross, if you had to make a sports team with video game characters, pick your sport, then which characters would you choose to fill your roster and why?
This is the easiest question for me.
I agree.
Okay, all right, you go first.
Oh, I would pick a football, a soccer team, and it would be exclusively Sonic the Hedgehog characters.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Win.
Or you could do track and field.
Yeah, that's just not a sport. That's all.
Oh. I was going to say American. I was going to say American football, and every member of the Gears team. just
my God.
Anyone that wears a COG uniform is on my football team.
Which is perfect because the Gold Train, baby. Yeah. Used to be a player. Thrashball used to play.
Oh, it's Thrashball.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I actually forgot about that when I first thought of that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Dude, I think a 2022 resolution might be having to be before you play the Gears games.
Ooh, all of them?
Yeah, dude. Those games are rock.
But you don't have to play them co-op, do you?
I mean, maybe let's not lie to ourselves that we're going to play through them co-op, Scott.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We still got Borderlands sitting right here.
Any day now. Alyssa, what about you?
I am not a sports person, so I'd probably just make a game where you swim around different areas, but just put all the water Pokemon in it.
There you go.
I like it.
Swimming relay, but exclusively with Lapras.
All right, we got two more, guys, and this one's a little complicated, so you got to keep up. Let's take each other's favorite game of all time. So Mine is Link to
Okay.
the Past. Zach, Max Payne 2. Oh, Nier.
Nier or Arkham City, depending on the day, I think.
All right, and Alyssa,
Mass Effect 2.
Mass Effect 2. So we're going to each take each other's favorite game of all time, and we each take turns on the show to put in a gaming mechanic that you know the main person that loves the game despises. What game is it, and what mechanic would you put in? So, start with me. Link to the Past. What mechanic are you going to put in there to make me hate that game?
It feels too easy, but a timer.
Yeah. Well,
Timer.
except they made that game, and it's called Majora's Mask.
Right, but this is to destroy. When you don't like it, you haven't beaten Majora's Mask, so...
Yes, I have.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't beat Skyward Sword.
Yeah, so maybe motion controls.
There you go.
Link to the Past with motion controls.
With motion controls. That works.
Oh, that'd be so terrible for a 2D game. Ugh.
Oh, that would be awful. I mean, they kind of did that with Twilight Princess and motion controls. It was just a waggle.
Yeah, but this is like the sophisticated 1-to-1.
Oh, no,
where you have to aim it on a 2D
not
plane.
Happening. What do you think, Alyssa? For Nier, we add a music rhythm game mechanic. No, because he kind of likes those.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like there's
I'm not evil.
No. We add humor. We add Borderlands-style humor to Nier.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I thought you were just going to say skill tree, which would also ruin it. Ugh.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, the Borderlands humor's better.
Borderlands 2, the new Saints Row reboot style humor.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then how do we ruin Mass Effect 2 for Alyssa?
Man, that's a great game.
Well, we just add Mario somehow because of
Right,
Mario,
3D
Sonic, or Zelda.
Adding 3D platforming sections.
Something because she likes story-driven games, where there's not a lot of action. So something Dark Soulsy.
So yeah, a fast-paced platforming section, but if you fall off a platform at any point, one of your squad members dies.
There you go.
Oh no, that would be horrible. No.
Yep.
Everyone will be dead.
One misjump, there goes Garrus Vakarian.
No. Not Garrus.
I was saying an easy way to ruin Mass Effect 2 would be eliminate choice. But that
would be
just make it a completely linear experience.
It'd be devastating. But yeah,
that was a good question.
Any platforming. That was fun. Yeah, absolutely.
That worked out a lot better than I thought it would. All right, last question comes from Termina Vita, who I believe is a newer member over on Discord. Said, excluding the obvious winner, Bully Scholarship Edition, what is your favorite music or rhythm game and why? I assume there was sarcasm.
I mean, there is music class in Bully.
Yeah, there is.
I haven't played it, so I just assumed that. I thought that
it's a great game. It's so
Everyone
good.
says that, and I own it. I bought it because it was on sale for like $5 on Xbox Live one day, and I've never even booted it up. Do you think it still holds
it's so
up?
Fun. I played it on Xbox 360, so I don't know if it still holds up today.
Yeah.
It did back then.
All right. I have been playing Unplugged on the Oculus Quest, and it is close to claiming that spot for me. I've not played Unplugged in Quest. Boy. I mean, the obvious answer is Rock Band. I played Rock Band. Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I don't know which one I would really consider better than the other. More than any other rhythm game, just because it was popular and I was good at it. Countless hours sitting in front of my TV playing songs over and over again. I bought Green Day Rock Band. I bought Beatles Rock Band. I bought Van Halen Rock Band.
So yeah, didn't you buy all like a bunch of download songs and stuff too?
Not as much as you'd think, because I was really picky. It wasn't like pinball where I if it's out I just buy it, just like blind buy it. I didn't do that, because there were no achievement attached to song downloads. I bought ones here and there that I knew I wanted, but yeah, I mean, and then when you get to do all the instruments with your buddies, that was fun. We had a Green Day Rock Band party in my basement.
Hey, also, quick aside, Termina Vita, is that a Majora's Mask reference, by the way? Termina?
I don't remember. I've tried to block out most of that game from my memories.
Let me know in Discord, Termina Vita, if that is a Majora's Mask reference I've picked up on.
I'm sure he or she will do that.
I'm sure they will. Rhythm game for me, I would say, shout out to Beat Saber, because that
I was going to say
great.
Beat Saber was I thought about.
But for me, it's going to be Guitar Hero 2. Just for the memories, I would I would go. I was in high school when it came out, and then I would get off of school at 3 or whatever, and I would work at 4. But I would always make sure to get home and get a few tracks of Guitar Hero 2 in. So it's just like there is a nostalgia thing to that. I was playing that game crazy. I was playing it on whatever the hardest difficulty was. It is such an incredible time, and for someone who has no sense of rhythm and does not listen to a lot of music, it was very surprising to even myself that I was as into that game as I was.
I actually am surprised as well. If you heard earlier, I initially put that into Nier, thinking that that would make you hate that game.
Would have been a mistake.
That would have made it better. So
yeah, Drakengard 3, the final boss, is a rhythm game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's bizarre. But yeah, Guitar Hero 2 is great. Guitar Hero 3 is also really good. But there's going to be memories that cannot be topped with Guitar Hero 2.
And it expanded so much on the original Guitar Hero to the point that it made Guitar Hero 1 almost unplayable in terms of like how they fixed some of the mechanics and stuff. Like I can play that and like, how did I play this game back then?
Was Through the Fire and the Flames Guitar Hero 2 or 3?
I think that was 3.
Yeah, that
could be
3.
wrong.
That was a lot of fun to play.
I couldn't do it.
It was great.
I couldn't do it on Expert.
I feel somehow impressed with myself.
Okay, if we come, we've been talking about CB and I coming down to visit you in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
You got to promise not to do it, not to play it and practice it, whatever.
Okay.
Let's just, when we get together, let's cold play.
Oh man,
some Guitar Hero. No practicing, no lead up or whatever, and just see how good we are at playing it now.
On extreme though, or on hard?
No, we'll do it on hard.
Okay. Yeah, because normal was a cakewalk, right? Obviously. But okay, yeah,
hard. Well, it also worked. Like the earlier songs were easier, and they got progressively harder too. So there's still like a ramp up in difficulty.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, that sounds fun to me.
That sounds super fun.
I remember I also bought Guitar Hero Live. Do you remember that short-lived game? That was a lot of fun because they went to 8 buttons for that one, which I thought was cool. And I actually liked the live component.
6, wasn't it?
What's that? Oh, was it 6?
It was 6.
Okay.
It was 2 or 3. I actually... Or no, I have Rock Band. It's Rock Band Live, isn't it?
No, it was Guitar Hero Live.
Was it Guitar Hero Live? Okay, definitely. Well, I got it recently.
Okay.
And
I think the live service
relearning how to play that game.
I think the live service is shut down now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool because it was just like, if you had paralysis of choice, you could just hop on there and play a random song. It was cool.
Yep. And it made you feel more like you're doing a power chord with the 2x3 button combination, which was really cool.
Yeah,
so.
that game was great, but it was too soon.
It was too late.
I think
it was way too late after.
No, they didn't wait long enough to bring Guitar Hero Rock Band back. If you had waited like a full 10 years, I think it would have been a huge deal. But they only waited like 4 or 5 years from when the craze died. It was too soon.
That's interesting.
I'll fight.
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, that's true. We will never.
Alyssa, do you like rhythm games?
I do. I actually have 2 I want to mention. First off is Guitar Hero 3, just because I remember playing that with my dad a ton. We never really played on hard or expert. We just played on medium. We just wanted to have fun together playing a game.
Well, I feel awkward calling it a cakewalk now. Oof.
We played it a ton. I think I was in high school when we played it. I still had a PS2 at that time. We played it on PS2. But besides that, I really loved the Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy games on, I believe they were 3DS. Because you just played through all these classic Final Fantasy songs. They played over the cutscenes, which could be a little distracting, but it was just so much fun to match the rhythm to the cutscene and the song and just relive all that and try to get a perfect score. And you had these little cute, chibi Final Fantasy characters that you collected throughout the game. And yeah, I love those games.
Nice. Oh, you know what? Shout out to Amplitude.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That was, Red Octane's, before they were doing Guitar Hero, did Amplitude, which was my introduction to the rhythm music genre. And man, those games were fun.
Do you remember a game called Rhapsody, a musical adventure on PS1?
No.
It was a JRPG with music rhythm combat, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you need to add that to your list of RPGs that we plan to play for Patreon someday.
Yeah, you'd probably dig it. Or do you remember when Xbox had the Xbox Live Indie section? But it was like the X and A section where anybody can make a game, put it up for like $3 or whatever.
Yeah, I made a game with zombies in it.
Yes, absolutely. There was a game called Sequence. I think it got re-released under a different name, but it was a rhythm RPG. It was awesome. Shout out to that game.
There was a rhythm, a guitar game you played, and the name is escaping me, where it was like a light gun shooter, but you had to hit the notes in order to shoot the zombies.
Oh,
do you remember that?
Yeah, because didn't have Neil Patrick Harris and Felicia Day.
Yeah, Rock of the Dead.
Yes. Wow, yeah. What a time and place that was.
But it was so awkward to play because if you were big into Guitar Hero and Rock Band like you and I were, where the note highway comes at you, they did that game where the notes go right to left. And it was impossible to wrap your brain around it if you had played as much as we had.
That would break my brain. I'm pretty sure the note highway has one path. Gosh darn it.
Yep. It goes front to back.
Yes.
Trying to avoid... Anyway.
That's funny.
Well, that is all the comments we have. Thanks to everybody that wrote in. That was a ton of fun. Especially, man, I love Thomas's question about the calendar. That was fun to collaborate and do that. It made my list. Me preparing was a waste of time, apparently, but
it was. I'm glad you thought it was fun. I thought that was the right way to tackle it. And I also appreciate that you guys agreed Catherine is the obvious Valentine's Day game.
Oh yeah.
That's
so funny. Next week's topic is yet to be determined, so stay tuned to the social media outlets to see what that question will be for the second week of November. Also, that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, do you have any parting words or recommendations for the listeners before we head on out of here?
Yeah, I just finally started Young Justice Season 4, which got a surprise release on DC Fandom Day a couple weeks ago. Young Justice is my favorite animated show, and it was canceled for Season 2, and then they brought it back for when DC had its short-lived streaming service for Season 3, but now it's on HBO for Season 4. It is an incredible animated show. The first two seasons were on Cartoon Network, but it was not very kid appropriate. So I think it's good for all ages for the first two seasons, and then Season 3 gets a little rougher in terms of content, but just a little bit more matured. But I think Season 4 is great, and this show excels because every season break has a time skip. So the characters age, they grow. Like Superboy and Miss Martian's about to get married. It's cool that time passes and you get to actually see characters grow, which is just all too rare, especially for superheroes. So it's just if you have not seen Young Justice, highly recommended it. This is the show I love so much that I named my cat after it. So big recommend for Young Justice.
Nice. Alyssa, how about you?
I've been watching this anime on Netflix called Blue Period, and I feel like not a lot of people have heard about it. And I just heard the manga was fantastic. I've not read the manga, but this is such a beautiful anime. It releases an episode every single week, so there's been 4 episodes so far, and it's about this teenage boy in high school, Yakuchi, who he's an artist, but he kind of just hangs out with his friends, and he plans on doing something practical with his life, as he says. But then he comes across the art studio one day in the school, and after seeing all these really talented students making these gorgeous pieces of art, he decides he's going to join them, and he quickly decides he wants to pursue art as a career, but it shows how he struggles with trying to get into a prestigious art school, his doubts about his talent and creativity. And it's just, if you're creative or artistic, it really resonates with you. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be crying every episode, but I am.
Oh. Yeah, I saw you talk about it on Twitter, and I was like, I gotta check this out.
It's so beautiful, and the artwork is stunning. It is only subbed right now, which I was kind of surprised since it is a Netflix original anime. I don't know if they'll release a dub at some point. So if you're not a fan of watching things subbed, this is sadly just subbed at the moment. but it's just so beautiful, and it's very short. I mean, 24 minutes per week. And I just cannot wait to see how this continues to unfurl, what Yakuchi's journey is going to be like, how it wraps up, if there's going to be another season. I'm just really into this anime right now.
Very cool. As for me, I'm continuing my audiobook journey. If you guys remember, I had been listening to the Game of Thrones books, and I took a break. And I have since finished 2 of the Harry Potter books.
Wow, okay. Yeah, those first couple ones got to be pretty short, right?
The first one is ridiculously short. The second one is about 8 or 9 hours, and I'm now on to Prisoner of Azkaban, which is about 11 or 12. But then, like, watching the movie after you finish the book is kind of like a little reward. Is just great. And it's reminding me that sometimes it's okay to make the film almost identical to the book, because they're like spot on, and there's very few details that are left out from those books, at least in the first couple. I obviously
I would say the first 3 are probably pretty close, but then they have to start making cuts for sure.
Yeah, because the books keep getting thicker.
Which is funny, because the most egregious one where they cut a bunch of stuff was actually the Deathly Hallows, which is 2 movies.
Right.
So it makes no sense. Anyway,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying the journey. These it's interesting going through. Obviously, I've watched the films. I did them as a movie marathon several Thanksgivings ago or Black Fridays ago with some friends, and that was the first time I'd watched all of them. And seeing them all condensed in a day or two, is obviously vastly different from how almost everybody else on the planet experienced them, like 1 or 2 years apart from each other. So they kind of grew with the characters, but now I'm growing. I'm experiencing the characters growing at a much slower, at a much quicker rate, which is just kind of fun. I don't know.
I'm glad you're liking them. I love those books. Yeah, those books are great.
Yeah, I'm in book 3 right now. They just got the, what do you call it? The Marauders map.
Yeah.
They just got the Marauders map. So
mischief managed.
Yeah, that's what he says to close the book or whatever.
Yeah.
I solemnly swear I'm up to no good or something like that.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
So I am there in Hogsmeade. Like, he sneaked off to Hogsmeade. So anyway, it's if you just want a fun experiment, even if you've seen the movie, go read or listen to the book and then watch the movie again. It just makes you pay attention to the film closer. I love to compare and contrast after reading a book. So I'm enjoying that, and I've only got about 6 hours left in this book, and it's already November 1st, so I'm going to run out of, I get the Audible deal where you get a book every month.
Right, credit a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to run out real quick, so not sure what I'm going to do, but anyway, thank you everybody for listening to The Gaming Outsider. I want to remind you that the podcast is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music that you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. The website is stemagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson and Chris.
My name is not Chris.
Alyssa White. And we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.